Hello, am I audible?
Yes, can at least I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
Actually, some participants are joining, so maybe we can wait for 2 to 3 minutes, then we can start. Is
No,
it okay,
no
sir?
problem. It's fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, so I think we can start. Other participants may join later. So, sir, can we start?
Yes.
Okay, so
All right. So let
I
me share.
welcome Dr. Azizuddin Khan. It's my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. Dr. Azizuddin Khan is currently professor in physiopsychology and cognitive physiology at Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. He is heading physio physiology laboratory. He was visiting faculty at Department of Psychology, University of Jyväskylä, Finland from August 2004 to December 2005. Then Aligarh Muslim University, India, 2015 to 17. Then Department of Psychology, University of Warsaw, Poland. He has research interest in the field of environmental psychology, polar research, developmental neuropsychology, emotion regulation, prospective memory, and developmental dyslexia by using biofeedback and electrophysiological method. While teaching interest lies in the fields are cognitive psychology, educational psychology, human cognitive processes, developmental neuropsychology, biological psychology, and research methodology. Dr. Khan has done his graduation and post-graduation from Aligarh Muslim University, AMU, with first division in 1993 and 1995 respectively. He has qualified UGC NET JRA fellowship in December 1998 conducted by University Grant Commission, which is UGC. He has completed his PhD from IIT Kanpur on the topic of temporal aspects of prospective and retrospective memory in 2006. He has also worked as researcher at the Department of Psychology, University of Jyväskylä, Finland from August 2004 to March 2005. Dr. Khan is an eminent psychologist, prolific writer, and author of many books. He is credited with two books, Prospective Memory, Realization of Delayed Intention, and Clinical Child Psychology. He is a recipient of several visiting researcher fellowships such as DAD, INSA, MNT, ICSSR, etc. Dr. Khan has published more than 5 dozens peer-reviewed international journals, especially in the field of emotion regulation and developmental disorders. So he has achieved so many things. So I welcome Dr. Azizuddin Khan, and sir, now you can proceed the session.
Thank you. Thank you. Such a nice introduction. But before basically starting, how much time I have, depending on that, I will, because time, we are going to talk about time management, so I should keep track of
Yes,
time.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So you have 100 to 100 minutes, sir. Then maybe interaction with the participants.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let me share my PPT slide. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So good evening to everybody, and I would suggest that it will be better if you can interrupt me at any moment in time and ask question. So I'll be happy to do that to answer your query or question, because for later part we may not have time, or sometimes we forget as well. So you can interrupt any moment in time. So as that the actually the topic was supposed to be like, there are several topics. I have chosen two. One is that stress and time management, and then we may have like say a couple of minutes break, and then I'll be talking about classroom management. And I assume that all of you are basically leading a responsible or uh, like you may be teaching, or you will be heading some group. So you need to basically understand why like classroom management or stress or time management are important. So this is my like basically I am heading psychophysiology laboratory, and This will be like say the first talk is focused on the what is stress, causes of stress I will be discussing, and then what are the basic symptoms, how can we manage stress, and within that how time management is important to reduce or to basically control stress. Then I'll be talking about the relationship between stress and time management, and then there will be some concluding remarks. But before moving further, I would like to basically ask you what kind of stress you people face in your day-to-day life. It will be good, like say if you are not able to say in like say verbally, you can write over here, and probably like if there is a example from your own life, or we can discuss. You don't need to basically reveal your identity. So I'm not going to mention that so and so person has asked this specific question. So it will be better if you share. But just to start, there can be like different kind of stress, like work related if you are teaching the class, studying, if you are a student, relationship with your partner, relationship with your family. It can be a stress due to roommate or child care. It can be even spiritual and religious issues may also lead to stress and some kind of discomfort. It can be due to that major career choice, or if you are buying a house, it can also any change in your routine can be a situation where it basically may lead to stress. So stress is inevitable in our life. It is almost impossible not to have stress at all. Uh, you may not be able to have any stress, or only that person will not have any stress. Otherwise, every individual faces a stressful situation in his or her day-to-day life. So, like, stress is not something which is alien to to people. It is almost ubiquitous, as without oxygen you cannot survive. Similarly, without stress you will not be able to survive as such. This is a big statement. Most of the time when we talk, or when we conceptualize, or we think about stress, we assume that stress is always negative. In my talk, you will see that it is not necessary that stress will always be negative. It can work, or basically it works as a motivational force. So, but before that, like I said, before coming to that point, let's look at what does it mean by stress. So, if you see the PPT slide, the word stress comes from Latin word stringere, which means to embrace. So, the conceptualization of stress, what we know now, was different earlier than now. And then it gave birth to French word de-stresses, and then came to the word stress. What does stress signifies? It is the kind of a notion. It involves the notion of compulsion, force of solicitation, and designate any aggression coming from the environment, or any tensional mood created by that. When I'm saying environment, environment is a kind of diverse kind of actors are there. It can be another individual, or it can be animate or inanimate object. But what does it actually mean by stress? Stress is a normal reaction the body has when changes occur, resulting in physical, emotional, or and intellectual responses. So, if you see this definition, as I already mentioned, that stress is a normal reaction of the body. Sometimes it may exceed your resource, or your capability, or you may start taking stress as something which is not controllable, which is beyond your control, and then stress starts basically behaving like distress, or from stress it becomes distress. There are different kinds of stressors in the we've come across in our day-to-day life. It can be environment, it can be social, it can be physical, or it can be cognitive. Even your thought process can create a situation where you may start feeling stress. So uh, the study or the understanding of stress basically started with one psychologist named as Hans Selle. He is considered to be the father of stress study or stress research. He conceptualized that uh, like uh, he gave the concept of basically general adaptation syndrome, and he was of the view that no, like we don't feel stress, or we don't become stressful just like that. There is a kind of different phases body basically come across to situation, and that may lead to a stressful situation, or it may easily resolve the stressful situation. So if you see the this graph here, this is the stress resistance from low to high, and there is a phase 1, then there is a phase 2, and then there is a phase 3. So what happens whenever an individual comes across to a stressful situation, body gives a basically provides an alarm, and it tries to basically mobilize its resources. So there can be, like say, there is a um, like uh, more blood sugar in the more sugar in the blood, and like there is a dilation of pupil and so on. There are different kind of bodily activities which basically provide energy to face a stressful situation. If situation gets resolved, or if stress is not persistent, then individual is able to basically resolve or to minimize or to remove stress at that moment in time. But if stress full situation is like it gets prolonged, or it is persistent, then body enters into second phase. It is called resistance. And here uh, like again, body tries to mobilize its resources, energy, but since it is prolonged, body may basically lose the battle, in the sense that body may not have ample resource, and due to that, resource gets depleted, and as a result, individual starts feeling the like pain of stress. So, according to Hans Selle, these are the three stages how which may lead to a stressful situation. It is not that like if there is some stressful situation in or some stressors in the environment, individual immediately starts feeling stressful. Uh, as I already mentioned that a stressful situation may be interpreted in different way. Sorry, it can be it can be a distressful, or it can be a negative uh, situation, or it can be positive. So negative stress is called distress, positive stress is called eustress. So if you see this PPT slides, distress is a continuous experience of feeling overwhelmed, oppressed, and behind in our these responsibilities. It means that individual interpret environmental situation or stressors as negative, on as a result like say individual feels stress, and that stress is negative, it is unpleasant. An individual tries to avoid it. On the other hand, there can be a positive stress as well. It is called eustress, and eustress is the other form of stress that is positive and beneficial. We may feel challenged, but the sources of the stress are opportunities that are meaningful to us. Eustress helps provide us with energy and motivation to meet our responsibilities and achieve our goal. One example of this eustress can be that Somebody gets a new job, lucrative job. Now he has to move from one place to another place or one city to another city. Moving from one city to another city is a stressful situation. However, this stressful situation is interpreted as say positive, and it is interpreted as a you stress, not distress. I would like to know, like, if you have any question, please stop me and ask if you have any question. Don't stop for the end. All right? Are you there?
Yes, sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, dear participants, it's an interactive session, so you can
So
ask question at any point of time.
yeah,
Right?
because here the idea is to understand this thing. It is not like regular classroom where I'm imparting something. You can ask question, if you can interrupt me, you can challenge me, you can do anything. If you feel that, okay, something is not uh, appropriate or something like that. But
Yes.
at least ask question. So, if just like the previous slides, which like this slide, where there is a the first phase where there is an alarm reaction, then there is a resistance, and there is a exhaustion. Stress and distress and eustress can be understood in this. Sorry, in this PPT slides. If you see, this is performance, the vertical, and then there is a horizontal line is a level of stress. So you all must be familiar with normal probability curve. Similarly over here, uh, until unless what I'm trying to bring to your notice, that appropriate level of stress is required to perform well. If there is no stress, performance will be low. If there is a like optimal stress, performance will be at optimal level. If there is too much stress, then performance will go down. So in order to perform, or in order to basically do any activity in a very appropriate manner, a certain level of stress is required. So don't treat stress as something which is altogether negative, or it is only negative stimulus or entity. So if you see over here, if you don't have any stress, you are relaxed, you are not doing anything, you are just calm, there is no performance. It's a kind of boredom. When you don't have any stress, you are not doing anything. That is also performance wise, your performance is at lower end. But as like say level of stress increases, like if you see over here, at least this portion, where there is a kind of moderate level of stress, uh, where you feel like say like that you need, or you need to channelize your energy. You have to channelize your bodily resources to perform a specific task. So until here it is called eustress, because until now your body or you as a individual is capable of facing a level of stress or stressful situation. But if it goes beyond your capacity, uh, or that level of stress is too much, then fatigue, exhaustion, ill health, breakdown, and burnout starts showing their effect. So the idea is basically that in order to perform at the level of like say optimum performance, you should have moderate level of stress. Otherwise, if stress is low, then your performance will be lower side. If it is too much, again your performance will deteriorate. So you should have moderate level of stress. So don't run away from your that stress. You have to face it, and uh, if you can face it, you can win it. Oh, something is all right. The next is like I was talking about that related to the previous slide, where if stress is low or stress is high. So sometimes like if stress is optimal, individual try to fight, or individual tries to basically face the challenge. But if it is too much, individual tries to run away from the stressful situation. Therefore, uh, like I will discuss later, that if you feel that you have the control over the situation and it is temporary, then uh, no matter how much stressful situation you are facing, you can basically win the situation, or you can like easily resolve the stress. So over here, so all the time basically you are facing different kind of stressors in your day-to-day life. From morning till evening, there are different kinds of stressors. And like how you are going to basically interpret each kind of stressors will decide whether you are going to to interpret is, or is as a distress or as a stress. So if you see over here, there are stressors, and then there is a individual evaluation, and this evaluation basically may lead to either distress, or it may lead to that positive result. And if it is positive, or if you think that though it is a stressful situation, but I can handle this situation, outcome will be better. If you think that it is a distressful situation and I am not able to control it, or I am not able to master it, then stress will deteriorate. Now the question arises, what are the factors which help in our that appraisal? When like say there are stressors, then individual appraisal. Basically there are two three things which basically may lead to interpreting a specific stressors as a distress, or it may lead to as a eustress. The first thing is that that whatever situation you are facing is temporary. If you interpret this situation as a permanent, then you are not going to interpret this situation as a you cannot win. The interpretation will be that since it is a permanent situation, I am not going to win this situation. Therefore, this is distress, or is a it is a situation where I cannot do anything. But if you evaluate the situation as temporary, then you will try to remove this temporary situation, because you know that situation will not last longer, and therefore I should put more effort to remove it as early as possible. The other thing is that whether you have control over that or not. If you think that you don't control your environment, or you are not in a control, like say you think that I'm helpless to do anything. I am not, I am the not the master of my own destiny. Then it will be considered that a situation which is uncontrollable. So if two situations are there, that the situation is permanent, the other one is uncontrollable, and it is external. So if it is external, it is uncontrollable, it is permanent, then individual develops a psychological state called hopelessness. And hopelessness will lead to interpret any situation as distress, and it may hamper your, not only your health, but your social relationship, your cognitive or your thinking pattern, and so on, which I will discuss later. Now, when we are talking about different kind of stressors, I would like to categorize that there are four kinds of stressors, like physiological stressors, when somebody gets ill, or like say after 45 there is a menopause, if there is an injury, if there is a hormonal fluctuation due to health, or you are not getting any adequate sleep or nutrition. Yeah, it's a kind of stressors originating from your physiological state. Then there can be environmental stressors like noise, pollution, traffic and crowding, weather condition. Like those individuals or those people who live in a cold environment, they have the seasonal depression. So every in a specific like few months, they are quite depressed because of that weather condition. Similarly, like weather, noise pollution, noise pollution, air pollution, and different kind of pollutions, they act as a stressors. Similarly, there is a cognitive stressors where some individuals have developed the habit of thinking everything in a negative manner. So they have the high negativity, and everything is interpreted as something which is going to be quite it they considered as a catastrophe, and they are perfectionists. Being perfectionist is not bad, but if it is going beyond normal, then it is also lead to more experiencing more stress. And then there can be social stress, financial problem, work demand, family demand, job interview, examination, and so on. They are considered as social stressors. Now, what are the causal factor of these stresses? So, there are basically three uh, that causal uh, causes of stress. One is unsettling effect of change. Means I have hinted earlier that if you think that this change is permanent, it is I am helpless, I am not able to change, or I am not able to improve this change, then it will lead to a stressful situation. The second one is the feeling that an outside force is challenging or threatening you, or feeling of loss of personal control, which I have already discussed, so I am not going to delve more on this. So these three things, like change is permanent, that external force is responsible for this stressful situation, and loss of personal control, they lead to hopelessness. So these are the causal factor. Then what kind of effect it may produce if there is a prolonged yeah, feeling of or experience of stress. So just like there are different kind of stressors, source of stressors, similarly there are different kind of effect of stress, like physical, heart disease, stroke, blood pressure, headache, and so on. Similarly, that mental or cognitive irritability, it may lead to depression, may lead to indecision, it may lead to impaired judgment. At behavioral level, some people may start smoking a lot, loss of appetite, or like insomnia can be another factor. Person may not able to sleep properly, restlessness, loss of sex drive, drinking, and so on. So these are the effect of stress. One thing I would like to mention over here, that there is a kind of group of disorders or disease called psychosomatic diseases, and there it has been let's say observed that around 75% of physical diseases, the underlying cause is stress, and so stress may lead to even physical diseases. All right. Okay, so I will now talk. I'll talk about stress management. So, there are different ways to basically control or to reduce stress or to manage stress. Basically, the apt term is management, because stress is inevitable. So you have to simply manage it. So exercise is one of the way to manage stress. It has been observed that there is a physical exercise of 25 to 30 minutes per day. Individual feels less, like say, uh, stress, and individual is basically become individual becomes capable of handling stress. It's going like that. And healthy diet is another, better sleep. Now you can say that Like again a chicken problem that if there is a less sleep, it may lead to stress and vice versa. But here I am talking about sleep habit. You have to fix a time uh, that when you will go to bed, and try to adhere that habit regularly. You should be consistent. Then time management is another factor which may lead to stress management. Means if you are managing your available time in a like appropriate manner, then you may reduce the impact of stress. Then meditation and mindfulness are the other way to manage stress. Friendly social network, but it doesn't mean that you should be hook on all the time on social media. Here we are talking about physical face-to-face social network. Like say quality is more important than quantity. Even if you have one or two friends, a good friend, that is sufficient. If you have 100 friends, but if you don't have this heart to heart interaction, then there is no point. Then that pollution, we have to basically try to live a place where there is a less pollution. And then uh, you have to understand yourself that as a human being you have limitations, and you have to accept those limitations. It is not that you are like say nobody is perfect. So if there is any issue with your physique or your social network or your say psychological mechanism, it is sometimes it's okay. Basically, it is okay. Nobody is perfect. So you have to understand that. Then the next technique or some other technique, it's like um, it is included in that, but I will skip this one. Now the next part is like because that talk was on stress and time management, I am going to talk about time management. When actually everybody is kind of hard pressed how to manage or how to perform or complete his or her day-to-day activities. Everybody has like say 24 hours per day, but some people are able to manage their time quite appropriately, and they are able to lead a happy life. Others, they are quite like say uh, they are uh, they are not able to manage time, and due to that they face a lot of distress, lot of internal conflict, and sometimes it may lead to a stressful situation. When I'm saying sometime, it is basically most of the time. So what does it mean by time management? So if you see over here, time management can be defined as planning, organizing, and dividing your time for specific activities. I'm not going to talk at this moment these um, um, techniques, but we know that time is precious, and everybody has, as already mentioned, that everybody has a like say same amount of time. Time is a very democratic basically entity. So we have finite amount of time. There is a like nobody is having more or less time. Like say 24 hours is for everybody, uh, uh, and it is for same for everyone. It is non-renewable resource. It once it is gone, it is gone. It cannot be replaced, it cannot be saved, or overspent. uh, Either you can use it or you can waste it. So when it comes to time, everybody is at equal footing. uh, so uh, it is only that individuals way of handling time which makes different. So there are different kind of time management um, uh, approaches. One is that like if you see over here, some work are quite urgent, the other are not so urgent. Some work are quite important, and others are not so important. So what researchers are basically uh, researchers have suggested that uh, and work which is important as well as urgent, you have to do it right away. in order to utilize your time appropriately. The second thing is that if it is urgent, but if it is not important, it will be good not to do or not to like say do that work yourself. It will be better to delegate your work or reschedule the work because it is urgent, but it is not so important. Other situation can be that uh, a work can be like say important, but it may not be urgent. In that case, you have to do it soon. Like if the work is urgent and important, you have to do it right away. But if it is not urgent but important, you have to do it soon. The third scenario can be that the work is neither important not urgent. And in that case, you have to basically avoid or you have to ignore that task. So there will be interruption, there will be like say n number of emails. If you think that it is neither important nor urgent, it is better to ignore those. So this is the like say one of the technique of time management. But the next question arises, why time management? Because if you are able to manage time, you will be productive, yeah, your energy level will be high, it is reduce stress level, the organizational capability will be better. If time management is low, like say is negative, productive will go down, energy level will go down, stress level will be worse, and there will be disorganization and so on. So therefore, you have to manage your time. Now, what is the relationship or between that time and stress? Basically, the that management gurus they have recommended that in order to appropriately use time and to reduce stress, one should plan that schedule properly. One of the basically apprehension or lot of complaints are there that if I start scheduling my work, it takes more time than the finishing of the time, which is not true. Actually, if you schedule your work properly, it is going to save your time and your energy, and consequently, it will reduce your stress. Then there is a kind of situation, it is called smart goal setting, where your goal should be specific, definite, and achievable. It should be measurable, that you can measure it, that whether you are able to do it or you are not able to do it. You have to make goal which is attainable, means you should like those who are high achiever. I am telling you from psychology literature that high achievement people, they don't make either very easy task or very difficult task. It is only they make moderate level of difficulty tasks so that they can uh, uh, achieve the goal. Only those individuals who are not high on achievement motivation, they either make very easy goal or very difficult goal. In both the condition, if they are not able to successful, they can blame uh, like that I couldn't do it because it was very difficult. If they are not able to attain the goal which is quite easy, they can say that it was very easy, I didn't pay attention. So they can save their ego. Then it should be realistic. In order to manage your time, your goal should be realistic, and it should be timely. Means there should be a time frame that by this time I have to finish this task. You have to organize your space. It should not be cluttered, like say on your table, everything should be at their proper place. uh, then I have already mentioned that it will be good if the task is not very urgent, but if it is important, you have to delegate or you can ask help from others. And it is a good idea in order to manage time or reduce stress, you have to take a break. And one of the most important thing is that it is always good to take care of yourself. Even then, if you are neither able to manage time or to face a stressful situation, it is always advisable to consult experts. It is like say like in developing countries, it is considered as a stigma to go to health practitioner, but it is just like any disease. You have fever, you have headache, you take medicine. Similarly, if it is too much for you, a situation is too much stressful for you, it is better to consult experts. So basically, this is the kind of the first part of the uh, uh, my talk. If you have any question, any doubt, any clarification, I'll be happy to uh, answer that. Audience, no question?
Confidence is the key, sir, I think, in handling
Yes.
stress management.
Yeah, not only confidence. Actually, if uh, confidence should not, if somebody is too confident or not so confident, in both the situation, it's a kind of dangerous thing. You should be confident at a moderate level. You should have an element of doubt as well in order to perform well.
Sometimes too much digging into a problem also lead to a lot of stress.
Yes, actually, that is quite true. That if you are dwelling upon a specific situation for a longer duration, it is advisable not to think about that. Actually, I don't know how many of you from or you have exposure in in psychology, but creativity. Are you aware about that? How creative process happen? Anybody?
No, sir.
Okay, or problem solving. If you are okay, you must be aware about this Archimedes principle. Anybody? No? Yes or no? At least you can say this much.
Related to force.
Yeah, so actually, okay, let's not go into that. That problem solving or creative phenomena happens like say, there are four stages. There is a preparation, then there is a phenomena called incubation, and then illumination. So at the time of like when you start something, some thinking which is creative, or when we start creative thinking, and to solve a specific problem, we spend a lot of time. Or the person who basically discovered the structure of benzene, you must be familiar with that. So he tried to think or to solve that structure of benzene, but he was not able to solve that. And then he stopped thinking about that. And like if you know the background story, that he basically saw it in dream that two snakes were fighting, and the structure was like a benzene, and he took inspiration from there. So as you mentioned that too much dwelling or too much thinking on a specific problem may lead to more problem. That is quite true. So even your unconscious brain, if you are not able to solve a specific problem for a longer duration, it is a good idea to leave the problem for the time being. uh, Even you are not aware, but your unconscious brain is still trying to solve the problem. So you are quite correct in that way. Yeah. Any other question, doubt, clarification? Okay, okay. So one of the question is that how to reduce stress uh, uh, while presenting. Uh, some project in front of audience. That is what, if I am correct. Actually, there are five basic fear, and like one is fear of snake, fear of darkness, fear of public speaking, fear of somebody should not see me naked, and think like these are five basic fear. Everybody experiences that, but we learn not to fear. So your question that how to reduce stress while presenting the that project. One thing is that one should be quite like say, first thing is the knowledge that you whatever you have done, you should have like say grip on that, that okay, you know ABC of your if you know your ABC of your project, like 50% problem is solved. But uh, is if you still feel that okay, like if I go in front of audience, somebody may ask any question, how to do that. Like I just mentioned that to some extent this fear, like it should not be beyond your capacity or it should not be too much, but a little bit fear or stress is okay. But if you want to avoid too much stress, first is the knowledge. The second thing is that even if something goes wrong, I am a human being, and nobody is perfect. So I will try my best. Even though if something goes wrong, it is okay. I will learn and I am not going to repeat next time. So you have to be realistic while assessing yourself. It is not a good idea that you should be harsh upon yourself too much. Did you get answer? Okay, thank you. Any other question, doubt, clarification? No question? You can ask any question related to stress, even beyond, like say, you can go beyond whatever I discuss over here. Uh, you can, you are free to do that. I'll be happy to answer that. Okay, all right. One question is how to overcome anxiety. Actually, uh, uh, two things you have like say know quite well and you have quite regularly. One is stress. The other one is depression. Depression. The difference between the two is that uh, depression, we are too much preoccupied with the past. In anxiety, we are too much preoccupied or we are quite worried about future. So they are actually clinical anxiety, or you can say that anxiety beyond a certain level. It is debilitating and it harms your like say individual's well-being. So how to practice or how to basically minimize this anxiety? There are different techniques to do that. One is called systematic desensitization. I will give one example. Suppose if you are quite uh, fearful about incoming exam or incoming presentation or in incoming interview. So if it is too much, then under this systematic desensitization, you just try to play it in your mind that okay, you just play that 2 days are left to appear in this exam or in this interview, or then you visualize that 1 day is left. Then you just visualize that okay, it is the day of my um, interview, and I'm preparing myself to go to interview hall. You just visualize that going to uh, to the hall, or going on your bike or your car. Then uh, you just mentally visualize that you are in front of interviewers. You just visualize that you are answering their questions. So it is one of the way to basically minimize, because clinical anxiety, there are different levels of anxiety basically. So clinical anxiety evokes very negative feeling even just thinking about a specific situation. So when you at the thinking level, if you can minimize your anxiety, slowly you may start facing the actual situation as well. So for clinical anxiety, like you need to practice a specific kind of therapy. There are different kind of therapeutic tools, and that systematic desensitization is one of them. All right. Yes, actually, another comment is that when sometimes when we are in stress, we start talking like without thinking. Why? I think question is why it is so. Actually, it is a way to like by talking nonchalantly or without thinking is a way to reduce stress. It is a body mechanism to reduce the stress. So it is there are different ways. Different individuals do different activities while they are under stress, and it means one of the important factor is that it means that your body resources or your cognitive resources are still available and you can use them. It is like, say, if it is too much stress, individual stop even talking. So if somebody is speaking without thinking and talking gibberish, it means the good news is that that body resource is still there to fight back to this stressful situation. Got it? Okay. Any other question? Okay, I'll ask one question. What is the motive of attending this today's uh, talk? Anybody? At least two people should reply this. No, not even two people. Okay, so if you are not interested in discussing anything, then it's okay. Shall I stop? Okay, one of the question.
Participants kindly interact with the speaker. If he is asking something, then you have to reply something because you are attending this lecture.
Yeah, use your time when if you think that you know everything, then it's okay. Then there is no need. But if you have any question, if you need any clarification, or if you have any doubt, I will urge you to ask question. So one of the question was actually, let me see why is that, how to overcome stress. Actually, I have already discussed the issue. I want to basically not to attach. Can you write your question, because now I am not able to find where it is there. The question that how to find. That I know. The other question that by Yogendra ji.
Actually, sir, he's asking, you asked that why you have joined this lecture. So
Yeah.
he replied that getting knowledge about current field.
Okay, okay. So getting knowledge current field. And knowledge comes through interaction, conversation. Yugendaji. So it will be good if you ask.
Sir,
Yeah,
I must say it's a good beginning to for this 2 days FDP.
yeah. Actually, this is the easiest one, and it was good that the first day it is related to ourselves. So I could have discussed this stress in a very different manner, like say more going more of physiological level, more biology. But I consciously just wanted to discuss just basic of the uh, stress and how to overcome it. So one of the question is basically that how to overcome this that stress. So the that during presentation I mentioned three things that whenever there is a situation, individual evaluate that situation in like say three ways. One is that he or she tries to evaluate whether that situation is temporary or permanent. So if evaluation is that it is temporary, then there is a chance that the intensity of stress will not be that acute. But if I start not evaluating that situation as a permanent, then that stress, the intensity of stress will be more. Then the second evaluation is that whether I can control the situation or not, or it is uncontrollable. In that case, or the other evaluation is whether it is internal, it is from like say it originates within me, or it is external. So if it is evaluated that it is external, it is uncontrollable, and it is permanent, then individual does not do anything to overcome the stress. It assumes that now there is no hope, and therefore there is like say no use of doing anything. So now let's face it just like that, without trying to overcome the stressful situation. But if individual evaluate that it is temporary, I can control the situation, or it is controllable, or and it is internal, then you try to improve yourself, and doing that you can basically overcome the stress. So as I already mentioned that no matter what you do, it is not possible not to face stressful situation, because every moment is stressful. If there is no stress, nobody can achieve anything. So moderate level of stress is required to achieve your goal. If there is a low stress, or if it is too much stress, in both the cases achievement level will be low, and there will be lot of problems, physical, psychological, and social. Yes. There was like something else was written. Can you rewrite, or just something happened in my, like it is
Sir,
frozen? So
I will read it for you.
yeah,
One
yeah,
participant, Miss Swati,
yeah.
told that by attending this workshop, we are getting knowledge about recent research and current trends in antenna field, as well as
Mhm.
life balancing in all aspects.
Yes.
So she is saying, I think she is doing research in antenna, but
Okay,
sometimes she
okay.
got uh, stressful. So
Yeah.
maybe, yeah. So
Yeah,
this action is
actually,
very helpful.
yeah, actually, achievement in any field, if you are not at peace, it is very difficult to achieve anything. Even if you even if you can achieve anything, you are not be able to enjoy that achievement. So your physical, your mental, your psychological health are quite important.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other comment or question? Then what we can do, we can take 2-3 minutes break, and then there is like maybe very short lecture on class management.
Yes, sir. It's fine.
Is that okay? So let's meet after, now it is 27, so like 2012.
Yes, it's fine.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Right. Welcome back. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So the next part is basically about class management. I am not sure why this topic is given, because uh, you people are not faculty anywhere, or you are some of you are faculty as well, teacher, professor.
Sir, many of them are faculty in different institutes.
Ah, very good, very
DIAT.
good. Then it's after one. I thought like
Yes.
say somebody is doing on antenna, so not may not be.
No.
All right. Okay, so actually, welcome back. And then I'm going to talk about classroom conduct and behavior management. And in this talk, I will be covering mostly that what is classroom management, importance of classroom management, why classroom management is important, like why classroom management, behavioral problem in classroom, factor affecting classroom, and then I'll be discussing one specific model of classroom management, that is Garrett model, and then I will be talking like say how culturally responsive classroom management is important, and why we should practice that, and then classroom management technique, and then conclusion. So what is classroom management? So even before proceeding, since you people are a teacher yourself, what do you understand by, or what is your idea about class management? Any one of you can, or anybody can answer that. Or if you don't want to speak, you can just write on chat. Why it is important that we should study uh, classroom management? Is it not intuitive that every teacher or professors know how to manage class, or is there a need to learn classroom management?
There are a variety of
Okay.
students in class, so
Yes.
one needs to have different approach while controlling the class.
Very good. So one purpose of classroom is basically to discipline them to understand students, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else want to share? All right. So if you don't want to share your idea about classroom management, it's okay. But let me tell you that class management, you are quite correct that discipline is one of the component, but it is not the full story. Classroom management goes beyond, or it requires much more than simply disciplining students. So, what does it mean by classroom management? Classroom management. Okay, somebody has replied. Yeah, very good. Yeah, you are quite correct, Vidyaji. Anybody else want to say something? If, two people share their idea. If, okay, so maintaining good relationship with the students, disciplining them. Anybody else want to share anything about classroom management? All right, so the PPT slide is in front of you, so let's move further. But giving attention to all children, yeah, that is another component. So it looks like you people know what does it mean by, or actually intuitively teachers know, but we need to study everything in scientific manner, in a holistic manner, and that is why this lecture basically. So classroom management is the process of ensuring that classroom lesson run smoothly despite disruptive behavior by students. One thing is common, that if you go by this normal probability curve, some students will be quite well behaved, others will be quite ill behaved, and in the middle, like say majority will be kind of normal, or you can say average students. The task of the teacher is basically to assimilate them, to make the class inclusive in such a way that nobody should be left all alone. Means those who are not well behaved, they should not disrupt the class. They should not. They should maintain sanctity of the class. A teacher should not allow them. Uh, it also, like if you see that sentence or statement two, it also implies that prevention of disruptive behavior, because if you are not preventing disruptive behavior, it is not going to affect that child himself or herself, but it is going to affect the whole class as such. And therefore class management also includes prevention of disruptive behavior. It is the most difficult aspect of teaching for many teachers, because when it comes to managing uh, classroom, it becomes too much for them, because like there are different kind of students, and you have to take into consideration different psychological state, or different psychological makeup of or different socio-cultural background, and you have to basically you have to develop a specific culture, classroom culture, in order to be more productive, more like say efficient, and you have to make uh, children to grow efficiently. So one of the American psychologist, he defined classroom management as the process by which teachers and schools create and maintain appropriate behavior of students in classroom setting. The purpose of implementing classroom management strategies is to enhance pro-social behavior and increase student academic engagement. What does it mean by pro-social behavior in the class? Any idea or any can anybody say something about pro-social behavior within the class? Any idea why pro-social behavior is like required in the class? Okay, so I'll take up this issue later, but let's come to that. There is a one psychologist, Bron Ben Frenner. He was of the view that human behavior, not only like say just like one group or just among children or adult or school going children, behavior is affected by different forces, and classroom is also part of a broader socio-cultural aspect. So behavior gets influenced by different sources. So if you see over here, there is an immediate environment like peers, family, teachers, and then there is an indirect environment where that school, online environment, health, justice, and social service, sport club, and then there is a broader cultural, culture and political influence. So a teacher should understand each like say life from different spheres, like he should understand that culture and political influence, like school culture is like how a child behaves when he is say he is learning and teaching online, or he's a kind of how he or she behaves in a different setup, whether it's a health or social service, uh, everything. Why? Only then the teacher will be able to manage it efficiently. Having knowledge about subject is not like sufficient, or it is not going to solve the problem, because you as a teacher in the classroom is has to perform different roles. Only then you can make classroom conducive for teaching and learning. Now the next question is why classroom management is important. The first thing is that it establishes and sustain an orderly environment. It increases meaningful academic learning and time engaged, facilitates social and emotional growth, decreases negative behavior. Satisfaction and enjoyment in teaching are dependent upon leading a student to cooperate. Classroom management issues are of highest concern for beginning teacher, because just like a political setup, or like say it's a kind of leading a or kind of, you can say that uh, you are administrator, you are a political guru, or you are king, everything in one role. So you have it is not just knowledge, it is not just simply disciplining them, but you should have empathy as well, or you should be able to understand each and every children, and therefore you have to have personal engagement with each child. Only then you will be able to maintain a better classroom environment. Other thing is that that classroom management is effective in disciplining, being prepared for class. It's motivating your students. It provides a safe, comfortable learning environment. It's building your student self-esteem. It's being creative and imaginative in daily lesson. So if you are able to manage class properly, everybody is heard, everybody is contributing, and children are like say progressing, they are productive in the class and outside, then like the environment become totally different. Actually, one of the issue I'm talking not related exactly to this thing, but one of the major challenge of teachers nowadays in modern time is basically earning trust of their students. Except 2 3 students, no student, like not many students, I shouldn't say no, but not many students trust their teacher, and it is basically due to lack of classroom management failure. like in day-to-day life, we face different kind of challenges or behavioral problems in the classroom. Like rude talk is one of the like say kind of behavioral pattern we see in the classroom. Bullying is one of the factors. Now there, like say, it is related to even mental health of other children who get bullied. It can be cyber, it can be face to face, it can be in the classroom, it can be at the playground, and so on. Some children have or some students have habit of incessant talking, note passing during the lecture, naming and blaming, poor homework, ethnic difficulty or lack of respect, stealing, and then swearing and paying no attention to their uh, teachers. So these are different kinds of behavioral problems one faces in the classroom. But there is a kind of science of behavior as well. So if teachers keep these things in the mind, one can basically manage a classroom quite well. So one of the, like say, thing one should keep in the mind, every teacher should keep in the mind that that students are not born with bad behavior. It is an indication that something is missing in the class, or these children are having some specific problem. As a teacher, instead of punishing them, yeah, it is not that you cannot punish them, but the good idea is that you should try to understand their problem. Now the question arises, we don't have time. That is true, everybody is busy, teachers are even more busy because they have to do multiple uh, they have to perform multiple role. And due to, but you, at least you should be kind of empathetic to your students. Students do not learn when presented aversive consequences. So punishment is one thing, but if you, like say, in psychology, or basically like role of, there are two things, reinforcement and punishment. There is a negative reinforcement and then punishment. So if you are using the technique of reinforcement, you can improve good behavior. Punishment is not sufficient, or it is it is not all the time appropriate to make children to behave properly. The third science of behavior teaches us that students do learn better ways of behaving by being taught directly and receiving consistent positive feedback. So if teacher is consistent, and they have to be, like say, quite strict when they laid certain rules for the classroom, they should adhere it. If they themselves not adhere, if they themselves are not organized, children will not behave in a positive manner, or they are not going to behave. Next thing is that every teacher has their own method of managing is our classroom. Method depends heavily on grade level and subject, culture and community, personal preferences, student population and student needs. So there is no shortcut, and there is no specific way how to manage the class. It can be like say that there can be individual differences. Each class is different than the other, each teacher is different than other. So teacher has to find out a specific parameter or characteristics of the class. He or she should know his or her own limitations, and accordingly he or she should uh, provide or lay down certain rules for the class. Only then he or she will be successful. So I'll leave this one. What are the factors which affect classroom? Basically, one of the, like say, if you see over here, school and classroom setting, it it can be, like say, physical and architectural feature, it can be organizational factor, there can be teacher characteristics, aggregate student characteristics, and these factors. So school and classroom context may lead to may specific organizational factor, like the kind of school culture. Like school, every school has a specific culture that will decide like what will be the classroom climate. Physical architecture of this classroom will decide what would be classroom climate. Specific teachers' characteristics will decide classroom climate, and aggregate student characteristics. Sometimes it so happens that there is a year when all students are quite good and teachers are quite happy. In other time, student may not be very good. Teacher may feel that okay, last year students were very good, but as a teacher, your role should be like say consistent, ongoing, to make change in their life. One of the model which it's called Garrett model. He that Garrett is a kind of professor in pedagogy, and she basically mentioned that five things are quite important in order to manage classroom. One is that organizing physical design. So she is of the opinion that anything which is not required for teaching should not be in the classroom. So that classroom should be neat and clean, and whatever is required should like say those things should be there, rest there should not be there. Establishing rules and routines. So the teacher, if teacher first day, if he lays down certain or she lays down certain rules and routine, only then he or she will be able to manage classroom. If you are not providing any kind of uh, sorry so teacher has to establish certain rules in order to manage classroom. Then teacher has to put effort to develop relationship with the students. Relationship means it's not that you start sharing your personal life, but at least there should be a positive professional engagement. So you should know each and every about each and every students, at least their interest, their like say like which in which course or which subject they like most or dislike most, things like that. And then that instruction, the way teacher is teaching in the classroom is quite important, and teacher can choose his or her own instruction style. Then he should be strict when it comes to like say when it comes to the discipline. So if he is consistent, if he is or she is uh, like he doesn't change or she doesn't change rule now and then, so it should be not only consistent but it should be strict, in the sense if there is a rule, everybody should follow that rule. So this is the Garrett's model, that five things should be adhered in order to make like say classroom conducive for the learning and teaching. Then there is another important issue basically, that there should be culturally responsive teaching in order to manage classroom. And what does it mean by culturally responsive teaching? Acknowledging the culture within the classroom and ensuring the environment is one of the respect and acceptance. Some behavior management issues can stem from the teacher not addressing the various cultures and differences within the classroom. Therefore, it is important to acknowledge and teach using culturally responsive method. So, India being a like say huge country, we have different kind of subculture, and we like especially that metropolitan cities, especially that Mumbai or Pune or Delhi, there are students from different cultural background. So that teacher should be responsive to that cultural moorings and cultural aspect as well, in order to maintain uh, that conducive classroom. In this like say it is very important to recognize one's own cultural lens and biases. So first is the teacher should be like say should remove his or her biasness. He or she should not look from his her own cultural lens. And the next thing is that knowledge of students cultural background. So if you know that that there are different that students from different cultural backgrounds are there, and if you know that them, then you can make classroom even more conducive. Awareness of the broader social and economic and political context is quite important in order to manage classroom. Ability and willingness to use culturally appropriate management strategy is quite imperative in order to manage classroom. And then commitment to building caring classroom communities. So it is very important basically to have like caring class that fostering caring classroom communities, that every child is responsive or is ready to help another students. So in a way you have to have uh, like you have to sensitize yourself about cultural, social, economic and political background of each students. And these are the different technique. One is that create classroom rules with your student on day one. So when you reach a class first day, you have to lay down rules and which you should adhere throughout your throughout the year or throughout the semester. Maintain the classroom rules, routine and schedule, but maintain flexible and leave room for fun. So it is not that just disciplining or maintaining rules, but now and then you should be flexible as well in order to make classroom more fun. When students are engaged and excited about learning, less management problem arise. So if they are happy in the class, then that there will not be any behavioral problems within the class. Three key rules: use your inside voice, wait your turn, raise your hand. You should teach that. Always have a backup plan. As a teacher, you should always have a backup plan that if something goes wrong, how you can correct it. Get the students involved in whatever you are doing. Have them take part in that designing and smooth running of the classroom. Create an atmosphere of respect in which the children feel safe, valuable and want to take risks. But be by aware of all of the school resources. Do not ignore any negative behavior. So if there is a one mischievous child, you should not ignore that child. Then you should apply rule strictly so that they remain in a within the like say accepted range of behavioral pattern. Create a daily duties routine for your students, and these are the different techniques you can make your classroom more like fun, more conducive for teaching and learning. Thank you. That's it. If you have question, doubt, clarification about this classroom management, if you have any, and even you can differ as well. But I'll be happy to address your doubt. Yes. Oh, I didn't open my video. Yeah. Question, comment.
I think how passionate approach faculty takes while dealing with students, interacting with the students, and his overall command in class. Maybe not like impulsive command, maybe overall behavior with the students. That points you already told is the key.
Okay. Actually, managing classroom is not only good for students but even teacher as well. So in a way, if you are managing your classroom well, you can do much more than, and you will be at peace. So the best idea is like be little bit democratic with your student. Yes, you are quite correct when you are saying that socially active is being socially active is very important in the class. All right. So if you don't have any question, then I will log out.
So, sir, yeah, I request all participants to switch on your camera.
Actually, I could have done asked this thing in the very beginning. At least I should know that who is attending.
Yeah. So, uh,
But it seems nobody is ready to open video.
first I have to switch on my.
Yes.
Kindly switch on your cameras. So we will thank our speaker. So we were grateful for his presence among us today. He discussed many things, topics related to general adaptation syndrome, distress, then eustress, which is actually the positive stress. Then he discussed about the symptoms of stress, classroom management, and then attributes of time. So we again thank you for accepting our invitation and give a wonderful talk on this platform. So I hope that participants receive so many things. I personally got many new things today because I just starting my career as a teacher. So
Good.
I got many things from you, sir. So we thank you. So uh, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you all of you for patiently listening me. And actually, uh, I was under the impression that mostly that audience must be different. Otherwise I could have tailored as per your requirement, and I could have asked that okay, who will be the audience. But hopefully, like say, you must have enjoyed. I'm hoping that you have enjoyed my talk. If you have any, like say, a query, you can send me an email, and hopefully in future we meet face to face and we can discuss something, like say, any psychological phenomena in detail. Thank you. Good night. Have a nice time.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So you
Thank
can leave,
you.
but I request participants to don't leave. I have to discuss few things. As we all know that we have this 2 days workshop. First week we will have online lectures, right? And the second week we will have offline. So I request all participants to join the offline sessions because it is more interesting. And we did a lot of things to make this FDP successful. We created few new topics for this FDP sessions. We also included one industrial visit. So we will take you to the Bharat Forge Limited, Pune. So you can visit the laboratory. It is more related to many things like electronics. So also we will have a hands-on and simulation sessions on different kind of antennas. And other than antennas, we will have imaging session. Okay, so it is very interesting. So you can do some hands-on with the software. We will give you the computers. We will create groups. So we will divide you in few groups. So I will tell the group names maybe tomorrow so that you can discuss among your group and we have also we will discuss few articles. Okay, so how we will uh, publish articles in a good journal. That session will also be there. So two articles we will discuss. Okay, one more reflection journal, right? So this is the task given by the ATAL people. So we will also work on that, and we will have some sessions on numerical and experimental characterization of variable antennas. So nowadays, if you see, the scope of antennas are uh, that we can say that variable antennas are in demand. So that we will have session and we will see how we develop variable antennas. And the major problem in variable antennas are how to design the or how to achieve the required goal. Okay, so that is important. So that we will discuss in a first we will see the presentation, then we will go for the hands-on for that. So these sessions will we will cover in the offline mode. Some online sessions will also be there. So we will discuss. We find some speakers, good speakers from IITs, so they will discuss some microwave measuring instruments, basics of S parameters, some different kind of antennas like filtering antenna, which is actually a new topic, active antenna, which is not a unique topic. It is a uncommon topic, right? So active antenna we will discuss in this workshop. So it is actually is we make this FDP interesting because we put more sessions in it, and it will be more interactive because offline sessions are more interactive. And I request all participants, few participants have interacted already. So I request others also. So Dr. Govind, Dr. Vidya, Dr. Sharifa, Dr. Swati, Dr. Yugandhar. I thank you for interacting with the speaker, and I request other participants as well. So maybe from tomorrow onwards, you can interact more with the speaker. Okay. So this is more interactive. We want to make it more interactive, not just a speaker will say something and you can just listen. Right. So tomorrow I will announce the group. Okay. So maybe 4 or 5 peoples in a single group. So we will make a 6 or 7 group. Okay. So that we will give you some task so that you can do with your colleagues. Do you have any question to me? Then you can ask. I am the co-coordinator of the FTP. So if you have any question related to your online, it is easy. But for offline sessions, how you will attend that, if you have any issue or problem, then you can share. And we will find some solutions for that. Okay, so one participant is written that she's living in Mumbai, so won't be able to attend offline session. Okay, so we will do some arrangement. You also, yeah, one participant also already sent me an email to get accommodation at DIAT Pune. So I will reply you maybe on tomorrow, because we have already asked for few participants who are living far away from Pune. So we can accommodate you so that you can join the offline sessions. Yeah, for certificate, both sessions are compulsory. If you can see the scheme document of ATAL FDP. In that it is clearly mentioned that you have to attend both sessions, only then you will get the certificate. And attendance is also important. One more thing I want to say, that few participants join earlier, then later they quit. After some time they again join. So kindly continuously join the session. Yes, so we will, Miss Sharifa. Yes, you have project going on antenna, so can't leave that. So I think you want to attend the offline sessions at DIAT Pune, if I am understanding correctly. then you can join at DIAT Pune. We will make some arrangement. We will do some accommodation. Paid. It is actually paid accommodation. Maybe 250 rupees per day. So you can pay 250 rupees and you can stay for one night. It is in food is including in that price. So we will tell you the full means the whole scenario tomorrow, so that you can come and join the workshop. Is there any query from any participant? So I assume that you all will join offline sessions at DIAT Pune. Tomorrow we have a lecture of some SSPP antenna, which is spoop surface plasmon polar return. So Dr. Nagendra Pathak, who is a professor in IIT Roorkee, so he is an expert in this kind of technology. So he will give lecture on tomorrow. So you kindly join the session at 6:50. Okay, so it is before 7. You can join 5 or 10 minutes before, so that and more. I will request all participants to interact more with the speaker, so that you can get maybe few more things. So if you don't have any query, then we can close this session. And tomorrow we will have this talk. Then we will discuss a few things. We will create groups, so that we will give some task. That's from my side. If you don't have any query, then we can close the session, or you can just quit the session.